Imagine a universe where the intricate web of language that underpins our every thought and interaction has yet to be woven. In this profound silence, consciousness would exist in a state fundamentally different from our own. There would be no internal monologue narrating our experiences, no shared understanding forged through symbols, no ability to categorize and abstract the world around us with labels. Perception might be a direct, unfiltered stream of sensory input, lacking the framework that language provides for organization and meaning. This absence of language at the genesis of existence forms the core of our thought experiment, compelling us to explore the very essence and origin of this ubiquitous human capacity. To even begin contemplating such a state, we must grasp the fundamental nature of language. We defined it as a set of signals and interpretations. This seemingly simple definition holds profound implications. A signal can be anything that conveys information, a sound, a gesture, a change in state. Interpretation is the crucial act of assigning meaning to that signal. Even in the animal kingdom, we see rudimentary forms of this. A dog's bark, or signal, can be interpreted as a warning or a greeting, an interpretation. Similarly, an infant's cry, a signal, communicates needs like hunger or discomfort, an interpretation, though these lack the complex grammatical structures and abstract concepts of human language. Our initial definition aims to capture this essential function, stripping away the layers of complexity found in developed linguistic systems. Our exploration quickly highlighted the deep and seemingly inseparable connection between language and consciousness. We argued that language serves as the bedrock for the mind's ability to perceive, comprehend, and communicate. Consider how language allows us to categorize the continuous spectrum of light into distinct colors, or how abstract concepts like justice or freedom are encoded and understood through linguistic symbols. Internal thought itself often takes the form of an inner dialogue, a silent conversation conducted in language. Without this system, our ability to form complex thoughts, reason abstractly, and share intricate ideas would be severely limited, if not impossible. We then considered binary, 1 and 0, as the simplest possible set for a language, as it provides the minimum requirement for differentiation. In information theory, binary code forms the basis of digital communication. Even simple systems like a light switch use a binary state, on or off, to convey information. However, the challenge lies in assigning meaning to these basic signals in the absence of any prior linguistic context. The symbols 1 and 0 are inherently arbitrary. Without an agreed-upon framework, they hold no intrinsic meaning, demonstrating the necessity of a pre-existing interpretive system for even the most basic language to function. This led us to the fundamental paradox of language origin. If our very thoughts are so deeply intertwined with language, how could the initial thoughts necessary to create language have arisen in a pre-linguistic state? This is akin to the philosophical problem of the chicken and the egg. Some philosophical viewpoints, like linguistic determinism, the Sapir-Whorf hypothesis, suggest that language shapes our thought, making the emergence of language from non-linguistic thought even more perplexing. Furthermore, we confronted the complexity problem. Even seemingly simple human languages possess intricate grammatical structures, syntax, and a vast vocabulary. How could such complexity arise from a rudimentary binary system without a more sophisticated meta-language to define its rules and elements? This brings forth the issue of infinite regress. To define the meaning of 1 and 0, we might need other words or concepts. To define those words, we would need even more, leading to an endless chain of definitions requiring prior linguistic understanding. This suggests that building language from the absolute bottom up faces significant logical hurdles. To potentially resolve these paradoxes, we proposed the existence of an all-defining language. This language would not be limited by the constraints of human creation, but would be infinite in its scope and complexity, encompassing all aspects of reality. It would pre-exist our conscious awareness and provide the foundational framework for all subsequent linguistic systems. This language would exist for a consciousness capable of observing, interpreting, and interacting with its intricate structure. We then explored the radical idea that language might be more than just a tool for communication. It could be fundamental to the very fabric of reality, matter interacting with signals. At the quantum level, particles interact through the exchange of fundamental forces, which can be described mathematically as signals. Electromagnetic forces, gravitational waves, and the interactions governed by the standard model of particle physics all involve the transmission and reception of information through specific signals. Mathematics as an inherent property of language. Mathematics, with its precise symbols, logical rules, and ability to describe the universe with remarkable accuracy, can be seen as a fundamental language underlying reality. Its inherent structure and ability to quantify and relate different aspects of the universe suggest it as a core component of our all-defining language. Time as inherent to language. Any system involving the transmission and interpretation of signals inherently requires time for these processes to unfold. The concepts of when a signal is sent, how long it takes to process, and when to act are all temporal aspects intrinsically linked to the idea of language as signals and interpretations. Evidence from the quantum realm. The phenomenon of quantum entanglement, where two particles become linked in such a way that they share the same fate regardless of distance, suggests a deeper level of interconnectedness and information transfer that might be governed by underlying principles akin to a fundamental language. Similarly, the fact that certain atoms selectively interact with specific wavelengths of light, such as atoms ignoring infrared light, indicates a form of interpretation and response to signals at a fundamental level of matter. The challenge of bottom-up emergence, given the inherent complexity observed at the core of reality and the intricate rules governing interactions, it becomes increasingly difficult to logically envision such a system arising purely from simple binary elements without a pre-existing, more complex framework. To address the question of which came first, language or consciousness, we proposed their co-primacy. Rather than a linear progression, both are fundamental and eternal aspects of existence, always having been. This avoids the logical conundrum of one needing to precede the other. We further introduced the concept of selflessness as a crucial attribute of this fundamental language, consciousness, and perhaps an underlying essence. This nature of giving and sharing could explain why such a complex and intricate system would manifest in the first place, leading to the creation of a universe and the emergence of conscious beings capable of experiencing it. Just as we observe instances of altruism and cooperation in nature, a foundational principle of selflessness could be the driving force behind the universe's very existence and its capacity for complexity and life. Our exploration naturally led us to consider existing belief systems that might offer similar perspectives. We examined Abrahamic faiths like Judaism, Christianity, and Islam express the concept of creation through a divine word or utterance. See Genesis chapter 1, verse 3, John chapter 1, verse 1, Quran chapter 3, verse 47, which provides a strong parallel to our all-defining language, bringing reality into being. Hinduism, the concept of Om as the primordial sound of creation and Brahman as the ultimate reality encompassing all, suggests a fundamental linguistic and conscious basis for existence. The idea of lila, or divine play, could also hint at a selfless motivation for creation. Gnosticism. Various Gnostic traditions emphasize the role of the logos, or divine thought, in the emanation of the cosmos. Hermeticism, with its central concept of a universal mind, poimandres, creating through thought and word, and the principle of interconnectedness, as above, so below, Hermeticism initially appeared as a particularly close match. Taoism, while focusing on the Tao as an underlying principle of order, it offers a less direct connection to language as the primary creative force. While several frameworks showed similarities, Hermeticism's emphasis on a cosmic mind and creation through a form of divine utterance resonated strongly with our initial model. However, our discussion then focused more specifically on Christianity due to the profound emphasis on selflessness and the unique understanding of the divine language. The Word as God, as described in the Gospel of John, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God," directly equates the divine language, Jesus Christ, with the ultimate consciousness, God. creation through the Word in the subsequent verse, all things were made through him, and without him was not anything made that was made, explicitly states that the universe was created through this divine language. The incarnation and selfless love is the central tenet of Christianity. The selfless love of God for humanity, expressed through the incarnation, life, sacrifice and resurrection of Jesus Christ, the Word made flesh, John chapter 1, verse 14. This profound act of divine selflessness aligns remarkably with our proposition of selflessness as a fundamental characteristic of the primordial language and consciousness. Our thought experiment, beginning with the hypothetical absence of language, has led us to a model suggesting a fundamental, all-defining language coexisting eternally with consciousness. This language, characterized by a selfless nature, serves as the very foundation of reality and the means by which the universe came into being. Remarkably, this model finds a striking and detailed parallel within Christian theology, particularly in the understanding of the divine Logos as being both God and the instrument of creation, driven by an ultimate act of selfless love. While this remains a philosophical exploration, it highlights the deep and potentially inherent connections between our understanding of language, consciousness, and the profound questions of existence and divinity.